dropshipping is a numbers game at its core and at its peak. And when you're not following that, that ideology of understanding that this game is straight segmentation and this game is straight consistency and discipline, okay, that's when you're going to go ahead and start to make errors. Okay, that's when you go ahead and launch a product that didn't deserve to be launched yet, but you just wanted to go ahead and get ads running to go ahead and feel satisfied with your own self. Okay, I've done the same thing in so many different scenarios. When I first started e-commerce, I thought I wasn't progressing unless I was running ads. Okay, I didn't think I was progressing unless I was getting traffic to my site. Your time is best used, and your due diligence is best used by preparing for what will occur down the road. So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, you need to make sure that you are starting off with consistency and preparing yourself for this coming Q4. Don't stress about getting things up right now. You need to prepare yourself to move forward for Q4, okay? That's why it's important to make sure you account for everything that you need to do and understand what needs to be done. So by the time Q4 comes, you can start testing like a madman, okay? And that is one of the most important parts of developing a proper Q4 mindset and strategy, okay? Is getting yourself prepared. Spend time now, less wasted money later. That's the most important part of what we're talking about here. Okay, so we're going to go over algorithmic targeting now. I want you guys to understand that everything that we say here is built off the consistency of the actual ad combinations of what we've built over the last few years, as well as what we've been able to see our students excel with. Everything I'm showing you here is brand new information, stuff that's been working and stuff that I'm updating on a week-to-week basis, which is why I'm also going to be showing you some different ad set scale moves as well that I want you guys, especially those of us who are profitable on micro, big bang, CBO, and big bang, to go ahead and try here, okay? So first and foremost, guys and gals, okay, we're going to go ahead and start working our way to algorithmic targeting. And it's important that you understand this in the purest form. Okay, so with algorithmic targeting, so many of us struggle to go ahead and create sheets. So many of us spend hours and hours creating our sheets. And I want you guys to understand a few things. The formats and the segmentation of the audiences, so to speak, is more important than the actual audiences in the categories. What that means is developing segmented audiences based on categories is more important than the keywords that you choose and the preciseness of the keywords that you choose. Again, here's another way where segmentation in e-commerce is going to help you actually win. Because if you segment your workflow, you'll be more productive. If you segment your targeting and your audience flow, just like we do in algorithmic targeting, you're going to have an edge on your actual competition. See what segment of the market is actually consistently working for you, okay? And giving you the ability to segment and understand what category is hot and what category does not want to buy from you. So you can focus on the magazine column, okay? So you can focus on the actual passion column. People say do single interest, people say do this and that. That's phenomenal, okay? Those are all great shortcut methods. But if you want to work from an actual core infrastructure that actually is going to give you some insights and some data on what you're doing, you need to start off with algorithmic targeting. And you need to start off with the flow of actually separating each keyword. And one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is what happens after you actually go ahead and launch your algorithmic sheet, okay? When you launch your algorithmic sheet, what is happening here is that you're spending $5 on every single ad set, okay? You spend $5 on every single damn ad set. And those of us who have been asking, Justin, do we launch on $10? Is the market becoming too saturated? No, you're launching 12 audiences here for a reason. If you're launching only 5 audiences, maybe you would go ahead and do $10 budget. But at 12 audiences with a segmentation factor of algorithmic with so many different categories, that gives you a perfect infrastructure to only launch $5, okay? There's no need to launch more than $5 budgets on these audiences. Just because you're spending more money doesn't mean you're going to go ahead and get better data, okay? You'll read the data quicker and you'll be able to see what's going on, but you're not going to be able to kind of make a proper movement and a proper actual, hypothesis on your actual results because you're only launching a few separate audiences on $10. This is giving you massive diversification, okay? We're launching so many different types of keywords that you're going to be able to see if the product's hot. We're not missing any angle here, okay? Algorithmic targeting makes it so when you kill a product, you know you couldn't have done it any better, okay? You don't want to test the product and feel like, oh, no, I kind of half-assed it, and you're going to go ahead and start testing it again and waste more money. Algorithmic targeting is meant to know that you are moving forward and targeting your product with the best ability that you possibly can. And it's super important to make sure that when you guys are doing this, okay, you're taking into account the sizing of each column. Over the past few weeks, I've been seeing algorithmic audience columns, okay, far above 5 million and also far below 5 million. And it's not the end of the world, but you have to understand the reason that we're getting close to 5 million on each audience is for CPM purposes. We've noticed a consistent, proper CPM nearing the 5 million mark. And if you go ahead and break the rule every now and then for, let's say for 5 algorithmic sheets, for 5 product straight, you break the rule for 2 audiences on each sheet. Okay, that's literally 10, almost a whole sheet that you broke the rule for. Okay, which means that you're paying statistically a higher CPM as you consistently test, which means at the end of 15 products tested, you finally found your winner or whatnot. Okay, you could have saved yourself $500 in CPM. Don't get in the habit of breaking rules just because you're doing it on a per product basis. That will be one of the things that silently loses you money as you work through. Okay, and I've seen people time and time again break rules here, break rules there, and they're just doing it once or twice per product, and they're not seeing in the grand scheme of things how many times they're actually breaking it. Okay, don't break the rules, okay, if you don't have to. Put in the extra work to get the audience to 5 million. Put in the extra work and put the extra keyword. I would rather have your audience closer to 5 million than you actually hitting the 8 keyword threshold. Okay, the sizing is the most important part. And I want to make sure we also don't go ahead and overthink the actual keyword in the actual column. As long as you're categorizing and you're hitting the 5 million mark, you are making a good decision. Okay, algorithmic targeting is based off of sizing and ability to categorize. You can add a few extra keywords here and there. That won't kill you, but what will kill you long term if you keep consistently breaking the rules is sizing. We also want to talk about ad set scale moves. Okay, so what happens after we get, let's say, a sale on one of these algorithmic audiences? What happens is that we actually are going to go ahead and use the 5x duplication rule to start duplicating the audiences over again. And it's important that you guys understand this at a core concept level. So the moment we get a sale, we have a profitable ROAS, we'll duplicate it 5 times in the same campaign. Phenomenal. As we continually do this, 3, 4, 5 times over for other audiences that are doing well, and the duplicates continue to get sales, we're going to continue to do the 5x duplication rule until we start to see a downtrend in further duplications. At that point, you're going to want to go ahead and say, you know what? Okay, I think I've got enough duplicates. I've exhausted my 5x duplications. I'm going to go ahead and take my most profitable audiences, my most consistent audiences based on the 5x duplication rule. Okay, what is actually consistently making me profits as I duplicate? And then we'll start dissecting. And what dissecting is, guys and gals, is taking the keywords inside the most consistent duplications, okay? Taking the keywords from the most consistent duplications and creating their own ad sets with single interest targetings for each single keyword that you have in each audience. So for example, let's say right here in the magazine flex, this column is killing it, okay? Backpacker climbing, outside, Field and Stream, National Geographic Adventure are doing phenomenal. And we duplicated magazine flex like 3 times over and it's doing extremely well. What you do here is you would take Backpacker, launch it as its own $5 ad set. Take climbing, launch it as its own $5 ad set. Outside, own $5 ad set. Field and Stream, own $5 ad set. And National Geographic Adventure as its own $5 ad set. This is the practice of, okay, of dissecting. You're moving keywords into their own actual columns, okay? You're making them separate with $5 budgets, okay? And that's not saying that you're going to be turning off the actual algorithmic audiences that we duplicated previously. You're going to be keeping them on and judging them based on your KPI analysis that we have in university. So these will slow cook until we start to see a downtrend. These oftentimes will do well, especially when you have single interest targeting doing well. Okay, so dissecting is the way to go ahead and expand your audiences and to develop a stronger infrastructure, which is massively, massively important. Okay, now we have here. Okay, Rose says, for beginners, should we target core 4 right away or can we target US first until we get traction? I would recommend core 4, okay, because you're going to start to see the most equilibrium there. You'll start to get the lowest cost per purchase average out on those 4 countries. So we start with core 4 rows. Omari says, it's always better to start with a fresh pixel, right? If you have a fresh pixel, it's absolutely phenomenal. But if you have a pixel that just hit 100 sales, I'd always recommend using that pixel with some data to see how it performs in CPM as compared to a new pixel model. Now, Darren says, if you're tight on cash and you can't test all 12 ad sets at $5 a day, can you test 6 to 8 ad sets on $5 a day instead, or 12 is a must? I recommend anywhere from 5 to 12. Okay, I always do 12. Every single time I launch, I always do 12. But I've also seen students, because I recommend doing this if you're tight on cash, to really do 5, 6, 7, or 8. And it doesn't matter which ones you choose. They're all equally as proper. Okay, but you definitely can do 5 to 8 on $5 as well if you'd like. What's going to happen here is you're just going to get data slower, and you won't be able to make decisions as fast as you would be with launching more audiences. That was just a little recap I wanted to go through with algorithmic targeting before we jump into today's Q&A. Okay, I also want to come out with a little, new strategy, or not new strategy, but something that's been working well for us as well as a lot of our students lately. So if you have a profitable campaign or any profitable audiences just going to Facebook feeds, one thing you could do to go ahead and increase the size of your infrastructure, as well as go ahead and to combat ad fatigue, is duplicating whatever successful campaign you have over in a different campaign, but changing the placements from just Facebook feed or manual placements to straight automatic placements. Oftentimes, when you give Facebook all the room in the world to go ahead and make their own decisions, you're going to go ahead and start to see that you're going to get better results. Even though Facebook's going to literally only probably send the majority of the traffic to Facebook and then Instagram, which is exactly what you probably had your feed set to and your manual placement set to. Just giving Facebook the ability to go ahead and roam freely is going to let them convert lower costs. So it's super important to understand the difference in the actual placement styles. Okay, so anyone who has really successful manual micro big bang campaigns, go ahead and duplicate these audiences over, okay, into a separate campaign and just changing the actual placements from manual to automatic placements. This will go ahead and give you a stronger infrastructure, and in a lot of cases work really, really, really well. Okay, so Elf says, so when to pass from manual placement to automatic? I'd recommend once you start to see some traction and you see some consistency and some profitability on that campaign, duplicate it right over. And a lot of the time, as of late, we've been getting a lot better results on automatic placements, and that's what we've been using lately as well. So test on your Facebook and Instagram, and as you see consistency, duplicate over automatic. And for those of us who are experiencing ad fatigue, like I know Jag was experiencing, you want to go ahead and duplicate over again to an automatic campaign. Okay, automatic placement campaign. That is what's doing very, very well right now. So I want a lot of us to go ahead and start using that. So for guys like Sergey, for guys like Raphael, who are seeing massively great results on MBB, I want you to give this a shot. Okay, this is a great strategy to go ahead and to increase the actual base of your infrastructure and to move forward profitably.